60 Minutes Overtime.
This week on 60 Minutes, we sit down with Federal Trade Commission Chair Lina Khan. The youngest person to ever hold that position, Khan has made waves in Washington and enemies in boardrooms with her aggressive, trust-busting approach. Recently, Lina Khan and the FTC have zeroed in on non-compete agreements, which can prevent an employee who's leaving a job from starting or even working for a company in the same industry. This spring, the FTC announced a rule banning non-competes.
These are just enormously coercive contractual clauses that are keeping Americans trapped into jobs that they want to leave.
I was stunned to find out that people like manicurists and security guards and fast food workers have to sign non-compete agreements. That's amazing. Something like 30 million workers in the United States are signing these agreements.
We proposed a rule that would eliminate non-compete clauses. And in response to that, we got 25,000 comments from people across the country. We heard from a bartender in Florida who was being harassed at her job. She wanted to go then switch to another restaurant. And when she did so, she got hit with a lawsuit for thousands of dollars because there was a non-compete. And so she had to choose, do I risk unemployment or do I continue to get harassed at my workplace?
But you wrote a very broad rule, no non-compete clauses at all. At all. You covered all workers. And you've had a lot of criticism for that, for not restricting it to certain types of workers.
We looked at the evidence, and the evidence found that these non-competes have a really detrimental effect on competition. That's true for low-wage workers, for middle-income workers, but it's true for workers across the board. Just to give you some examples, oftentimes founders and high-level executives are the ones that are best positioned to go start a competing business. And we heard from many that right now, because of non-competes, they're not able to go launch their own businesses.
But what about the company where they work? This guy's going to go off and take the secrets from the company that he's working for now and go start a competitor. Is that legitimate in your mind?
It's an important question, and one of the questions we posed when we first proposed this was, what are the risks, and are there alternative ways to address those risks? We have in this country trade secrets law, and so if you have an employer that is illegally taking a company's trade secrets elsewhere, that's something that can already be reached under the law.
But big business took the agency to court, and in August, a federal judge in Texas struck down the ban, saying the FTC overstepped its authority in imposing such an extensive rule. So will you appeal?
You know, that's something that our lawyers are currently discussing, and it's very much under consideration.
Is it destined to land at the Supreme Court?
You know, it's difficult to predict how things are going to unfold litigation-wise, but we firmly believe that we have the legal authority to do this, and we're willing to keep making that clear to the courts.
Well, how much are you considering the possibility that if it does go to the Supreme Court, that instead of just saying you don't have the authority in this particular case, what if they say you don't have the authority to do this in any case? In other words, they diminish the role, the function, the power of the FTC.
So I'm somebody who believes it's incredibly important for the FTC to really be faithful to the law. And what it means to be faithful to the law is to look at the words that Congress wrote in our statute and understand what are the authorities that those words are giving us. And that's exactly the approach we followed here.
But her critics say she's interpreting those words too broadly. If this case gets to the court, the issue isn't going to be whether non-competes are good or bad. The issue is going to be whether you have the authority. Are you risking the power of the FTC?
So the best way you can take no risks is to never use the authorities and powers of the FTC, and that's something that I don't believe we should be doing. For me, it comes down to what are we fighting for, right? I mean, what are you taking these risks for? and in the context of our non-competes rule is to make sure that if we believe sincerely that we have this authority and that non-compete clauses are illegally being used to trap millions of Americans, be it the bartender, be it the hairdresser, be it the doctor in Appalachia who's stuck and isn't able to change jobs or to go launch their own business, that's a risk worth taking for those people, and I feel that very strongly.
So do you believe that it's better to go to court and lose than not go to court at all?
I believe it's better to go to court and win, and when we bring cases, we only do so because we believe there's a law violation, and we firmly believe that we have the authority to do this, and we'll keep defending them.